Well, hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining this Inspire podcast. I'm so excited to be in Kansas City. We're here at the Royals Stadium. It's an amazing stadium with another amazing announcement that we've been working on here at Integrity. Integrity is incredibly excited to announce that we're partnering with Heartland Financial Group. And I'm joined here today with Chris McDaniel, the founder of Heartland, and Todd Hill, the CEO of Heartland, who are both great friends of mine. I'm super excited to have you guys. Welcome to the family. And since we're here in the stadium, welcome to the team.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time.
Thank you for having us.
So, we love to talk about this. And, I don't want to surprise anybody, but how we started Inspire Podcast is it was kind of the beginning of COVID. And we were trying to make sure that everybody was getting out of bed and showing up. And it's kind of something to just get everybody going in the morning. And we would always ask the guests to sing a song. And so either one of you guys have something you want to sing?
Todd loves to sing.
No.
Come on, Chris, you got a song in. You always have a song in.
I can do the good morning song. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright, shiny faces. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
That is awesome. Thank you, my man. Well, hey, first of all, I want to start with you, Chris. You've really kind of been a legend in the industry for so long. In fact, you started Heartland in 1992. So if my math is right, it's been 30 years that you guys have been in this business. I mean, it's just remarkable what you've done. How did you get into the business? How did you get started in this business?
Well, I've always thought the insurance business is not like when you're 5 or 10 years old, you say, I want to be a cowboy, an astronaut, or president. Kids don't say, I want to grow up and be an insurance agent. It's a collection of people that have possibly failed at what they were doing prior. I think the business more finds people than people find the business. And success always finds its home. So I was 18 years old. I was going to college. Right across the street was the Larry D. Barnes agency. I had no car at the time. I'm 18 years old, and I'm going to college with no prospects of ever getting a car. So I look across the street from the college, Larry D. Barnes Insurance Agency. They're kids my age, and not only do they have cars, they have nice cars. So one day I'm sitting there, and it came time to do the midterms, and they went to pass out the test booklets, and they said, if you quit, we don't have to flunk you. So it's kind of like, well.
Did they tell the whole class that, or did they just tell you that?
Told me that. So I looked out the window. I saw a help wanted sign across the street at Dan's agency. So I thought, I'm going to walk over there and see what they do. Everybody that works there has a nice car. I have no car. So I walked over. It said, help wanted, long hours, low pay, mean boss, apply inside.
It did not. It said all
did say that. So I went in, and that's where I first met Dan McNerney. And they put us in new agent training school. And, Dan was one of those people in life when you become successful. Once you get to know somebody, like Brian here, you go, you know what? Because I've known Brian a long time. He's not as smart as he appears he might be.
That's for sure.
So Dan...
It's all a big facade.
Yeah, Dan was...
Some of you might call it facade, I call it facade.
So I did not tell my parents that I'd quit college to sell insurance. So I had to go to new agents training school. So instead of going to college, I lied and said I went to insurance school. So Dan said, can you talk to people in the city, people on farms, or people that do both? I said, I would prefer to talk to farmers. I can talk about cows, I can talk about bushel beans, I can talk about corn. I can talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Because you grew up on a farm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was very comfortable for me to talk to farmers. It's like I tell people, they'll say, well, the degree of success in Heartland and Heartland National, how did this happen? It was not planned. I didn't sit around and say, you know what? I want to be a large insurance agency. I want to go buy other insurance agencies or buy an insurance company. That was not the plan. It was just a progression of showing up every day and being around the right people. You know, in life, they simply say that you are the equal of the company you keep and the books you read. Most people don't read enough. So many, many years ago, I drove to Norfolk, Nebraska with Dan McNerney. And that was kind of the beginnings. Dan and Shep Cutler had an agency called Columbia Management Group. And Brian and Mike and Tom Sheets were thinking about becoming involved. And I think that was the initial kind of the mastermind group that kind of dreamt what now is Integrity.
That's right.
The ride home with Dan was Brian got up and gave a presentation on
That was
final
2006.
expense.
That was 2006. Can you believe that? It's been that long ago.
No, it was longer than that.
I think it was 05 or 06. It was, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
Brian gave a presentation to us. I had no idea about life insurance, and he's getting up pitching us on a funeral trust because he had worked at an insurance company that had done the funeral trust benefits. All I can remember about the presentation was when Dan and I drove from Norfolk, Nebraska back to Kansas City, which is about 4 to 5 hours. I said, you know, I like Mike and Tom, but I said, that Brian Adams, he's not going to make it.
You really said that?
I told Dan that.
There's still some people not sure if I'm going to make it.
Yeah, in that regard, Mike White and I have been friends for many years. And Mike and I were trying to merge ourselves. You know, everybody always wants to do something bigger and be bigger than what you are. So you want to build a team. And so Mike said, I'm going bird hunting in South Dakota with Brian, Mike Wingate. He was taking AC and Tony. And I said, well, that sounds great. Call me when you get back. So he calls me and he says, well, we had a good time hunting. I think that these guys might be onto something, but I don't know if it's real. And I said, well, who all was there? Because you always want to know who's there. Mike said, well, it was me and AC, Mike Wingate, and Tom Sheath were there. And there was this kid that was there. We don't know what he did. He just sat in the corner and talked. And I said, well, is he any good? He says, I thought he was an agent. And it was Brian.
You start from humble beginnings, man. Yeah, we soon thereafter became, so you're talking about Dan. First of all, Dan's one of my heroes in the business. I love Dan. To get started with Dan, I had to be amazing. You know, Dan was part of the original founding of Integrity, and then fast forward with Mike and Tony and AC joining Integrity, it was a huge moment for all of us, and we're super proud to have them as partners. They've just done so many incredible things, as you have.
Today, with this partnering with Integrity, Heartland and Heartland National, you know, I was asked earlier today, how does this feel? And it really feels like old home week, because all these people that, you know, I've competed against and known and I would call friend over the years, it's kind of like, you know, success finds its home. We found our home.
That's awesome. Well, so fast forward a little while, and I remember in 2015 getting a call by, I think it was Mike Wingate, called me and said, have you talked to Chris McDaniel lately? And I said, no, I hadn't talked to him in a while. He said, well, he just had a massive stroke. Tell us a little bit about what happened there. I know most of our partners spent a lot of time praying for you and thinking about you. You know, Brian Neary and a bunch of our partners have been super instrumental, and just, you know, I think the power of prayer really matters in a lot of ways. But I know that story maybe a lot of people haven't heard. Tell us a little bit about that, because that was a completely life-changing event for sure.
Well, it's a very impactful day in my life, October the 15th, 2015 at 2 o'clock. You know, I was going to actually the Royals. They were in the playoffs, and I was going to the airport to pick up agents. And I think I was going to pick up Todd and Tegray and Tegan at the office after I picked them up. I never showed up because I was laying on the floor with a stroke. And they thought I ditched them. So, it's kind of like, people that are successful have varying degrees of faith. And that day was however your faith leads you, God is either a God of convenience or a God of necessity. And prior to October 15th of 15, God for me was a convenience. I'll go to church when I need to go, or maybe somebody died or they're getting married. But I didn't really think I needed God at that point in time. The way I look at it, and I'll never know the truth, God doesn't text me or call me. But, the thing about it was, the way that I read it, God had given me great success, more than I deserved and more than I earned, monetarily and the people that I was around. And I'd had a lot of fun prior to having a stroke. But I was maybe not the nicest person you would have met. I had no patience for anything. My thing was now. So I took October 15th as God sending me a message saying, look, you've been successful, you've been blessed, you don't realize it, so now I'm going to get your attention. You're going to have a stroke. I'm not going to kill you, but this is not going to be fun either. So I laid on the floor for 3 days before somebody found me. So that gives you a lot of time to think about things. Things like, this is how dying feels. But it also gives you time to kind of reach out to places you might not have formally reached out to. So, on my 3 days on the floor, I spent a lot of time with God. And my deal is if I get better, I will change for the better. That was an inflection point in my life. It was a hitting of the reset button. I was able to say, okay, everything now starts anew. Because when you have a stroke, it is the most humbling thing you will ever do and ever have in your life. You can't talk. Your brain works, or mine did, but you can't talk. You can't get words out. You can't walk. Your arms and hands don't work. So you are literally like a newborn baby. You have to learn everything all over again. And one of the things that I tried to learn that the year off gave me was, maybe I don't need to push as hard, or maybe I don't need to push people as hard, or be as difficult as I could be. Most successful people you will find are taskmasters. They want it, and there's a timeline, and they're very determined to get there, and they'll push people to the brink. That was me, and the real blessing that I received outside of the reset was the fact of the matter that several years prior, I had hired Todd Hill. Because part of my magic, Brian, is I'm a great people picker, and I had picked Todd because somebody told me that this guy's really got it going on. So I called him, and I'm on my cell phone talking to Todd, who I never knew. He'd never talked to me. I'm saying, I think you really need to come see me. And he immediately started I said, you need to come see me next week, Monday at 2 o'clock. Well, I can't come at Monday at 2 o'clock. So then it became a sales job. And being a salesperson, I was up for the challenge. I was not going to hang up the phone until I got a commitment from Todd that he was going to come see me.
That's true.
That's how it was on this deal too. I'm not hanging up the phone until you say yes.
So the thing back to the stroke, I tell this story to people, they don't believe it, but God's honest truth. When I had a stroke, on the balance sheet, Heartland Financial Group had $2 million. So we essentially had $2 million in the bank. We could make our payroll, and we were growing. I had put some exclusive Medicare supplement deals together with Equitable Life and Casualty. Then the stroke. So I come back and I think, oh my God, I'm going to be broke, penniless. Not only can I not walk, I'm going to be broke. Because there was no institutional leadership at Heartland at the time. I was very poor in the fact that I'm a good salesman. I like to think I'm a good people person and can motivate and get people to do things they otherwise might not. But I was not, and probably won't be, a good CEO. A CEO is somebody that is, they can inspire and motivate, but they can manage very mundane things that are behind the scenes. I've done this 35 years, and I have met very, very few people that were actually good CEOs, and two of them are here.
Oh, thank you.
Brian has a tremendous ability to provide leadership and a dogged determination to see it through. And Todd's like that too. Dan McNerney was a very good CEO. So it's a pleasure for me to be around people that can manage things that I couldn't do. So when I came back, I had $2 million when I had a stroke. When I came back, Brian, we had $20 million on the balance sheet. Todd had increased at $18 million.
Wow.
And asked for a raise, which I did not give him.
Look, that's such an incredible story. There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, you're a walking, talking miracle. I mean, you laid on the floor for 3 days, and you were cognitive, right? You knew you were on the floor. I guess you assumed, man, I must have had a stroke or something.
What happened was when I went to the bathroom, and I walked out of the bathroom in the bedroom, and I went like this. I felt, when you have a stroke, the problem with a stroke is, people said, well, why weren't you yelling for help, or why didn't you get your cell phone out and call 911? Well, I'd never had a stroke. I didn't know how a stroke was supposed to feel like. I thought when I hit the floor, my chest hurt. I thought, okay, I'm having a heart attack and I'm going to die. I just hope it happens quickly. And I would sit there and
you were the only one in your house. No one else was there. You hit the floor and you're laying there, can't move, right? So you can't get up and go call somebody.
My dogs were there, and I'm a big dog lover. And at night, my dog, when I fell on the floor with my stroke, I had a suit and tie on. I went home to change to come to the ball game. And one of the things that's always been important to me in my life is rescue dogs. I just have a special place in my heart for those. I have a black chow lab that I adopted because I saw on TV somebody abused her. So I adopted her. We had multiple surgeries on Daisy. And for those 3 days, I would just come in and out, and again, God-given gifts and blessings. So Daisy, my rescue dog, takes her mouth and grabs my shirt and my suit jacket collar and drags me around the room and keeps me awake. She does that for 3 days. About every hour, every 2 hours, she would come over and bite my jacket and just drag me around it's tile floor, would just drag me around the room. Later, I was told that had she not done that and kept me awake, I would have fallen asleep and died.
Oh my gosh.
So you just don't, everybody looks for, again, going back to faith, we all have different levels of faith. I was a serious doubter, and I can be a serious doubter today, like, okay, God, you burned a bush for Moses and talked to him, parted the seas. Why can't I at least get a phone call or, so I've always looked for evidence of God in my life, and you try to find it every day. And I feel like that I have found it in partnering with integrity, because a lot of the people that started it, as Brian said earlier, I knew them when they were not successful. So for them to be an eclectic bunch of successful people is a God-given gift. It was not planned. The key to life or success, I've always felt like, is realizing that you're not in control of your life. Like when I had a stroke, I was not in control those 3 days. God was in control. It's very hard to give up control. So I would say that what's the most important thing is when you look for evidence of God It's kind of like chasing perfection. Vince Lombardi said, I will relentlessly chase perfection, all the while knowing I will never achieve it.
Yeah.
But in the pursuit of perfection, I can achieve excellence. And that's what integrity has done. You know, perfection is the goal on a daily basis, on a quarterly basis. You see that with the growth and the partnerships, the products, and the relationships. But Brian has the tenacity with the partners/owners to be able to say, we will continue to chase perfection, and he's not going to get there, but he can achieve excellence, and he can take people to a place they would neverwise go absent him. So it's a very important day for me and a real blessing to be with Todd and Brian.
Well, thank you, man. And it's a blessing for us as well. And look, you're a walking, talking miracle, as I said. And you know, this podcast is all about giving people hope, about inspiring people. And you have certainly done that for me this morning and for everybody else. Now, Todd, you got the call. Well, you were waiting at the airport, sounds like.
Well, no, we were actually at the office the night of and had gone on to the game. And it was common for Chris to get busy and do something else and not show on something. He would have something else come up, and he just didn't want to meet with whoever it was, and we would take over and go. So it wasn't that kind of really abnormal in that regard. And
so you became CEO of Heartland during that time. And that year, you had this decision to make, right? Of going, okay, what are we going to do? And so Chris had to go into a rehab hospital for a year, right? And learn how to walk and talk and do everything again, which is remarkable overall. What was it like for you and Tegray and the rest of the team to say, okay, hey, we're going to pull through this and we're going to come out stronger?
So, initially it was fear.
Yeah.
There were processes in place for us to take over for him not being in the office. And I can remember we pulled in Bill Ellsworth and Tegray and myself pulled into a meeting and everybody was like, well, what are we going to do now? And so what we did is we just came to a collective decision, and it wasn't just me. It was Bill Ellsworth really was kind of the focus on pushing me to the front of saying, Todd, you just need to take control and go. And we were dedicated in the fact that we wanted to make the company better when Chris did come back. And we wanted to put him in a good spot, make sure he was still well taken care of. And so we worked diligently over that time frame to make sure he was taken care of financially, make sure the company was in good standing, and we did what we were supposed to do. So it was a learning curve. I mean, we were just shooting from the hip, I'll tell you. So,
and man, sometimes that's the best thing to do is like, we just got to get through this together.
And honestly, there was nothing that I did personally. It was the people I had around me. When you take the people that we've had at Heartland and that we've acquired even since, the success Heartland has had is really not me and it's not Chris, it's the staff we have. We feel like we've really accumulated the best group of individuals there are in the country.
I love that you say that. You guys have just some amazing people. Look, Tegray Moot's one of my favorite humans in this business. Just such a great guy, humble leader, will do what he says he does. Bill Ellsworth, you talked about. Lee Mowry. Bill Cole is another amazing leader. Some might not know his name, but he's just an incredible kind of behind the scenes leader that says we're going to get this organized and structured and run a system, which is amazing. And look, the compliments that Chris was just giving you is, I think everybody would agree, just kind of your leadership abilities in this industry, which we're super excited about.
Well, and for me, it's very much of letting the people I have do their job. It's funny, I had somebody come in to me and they're like, we're not used to having this much control and this much freedom. What if we do something wrong? And I was like, we all do something wrong. Just go try. I mean, that's what we do is we all learn from doing this. And I'm not going to bite your head off. If you make a mistake, I'll tell you and we'll fix it and we'll go from there. And it goes all the way up and down the line. We got so many that we personally and on my executive team, we couldn't make it without like Tegan Harrison, our executive assistant. And then you've got people that we never had done MA really for years. We had not done MA, and we brought in Neil Wright and people like that. So
Neil's a great guy.
Yeah, we just got so much talent on our team, and we've got guys on the life side that are so good with the IULs and the mortgage protection, like the Mike Pasalias and the Eric Salazars. I mean, we could just go on and on. We've really accumulated a fantastic group of people.
Well, we're super excited to partner with you guys and see how much further we can take this, because Heartland has been an incredible group out in the market that we've admired for so many years. And I think everybody that's watching this would agree. And it's one of those opportunities as we start talking about partnering together about how can we partner together and accomplish more. And this was also a unique transaction for us because as part of this transaction, Chris is going to be leaving Heartland Financial Group and not focusing on that day to day. You'll then be running Heartland day to day as you are today, but in the sole capacity with your leadership team, working with our entire team. But it's an exciting time also for Chris because this transaction allows him to free up and focus on one thing that I think he's also world class at in designing products and services with his insurance company called Heartland National Life Insurance Company. And so, we're super excited, Chris, to be working with you and Heartland National in this new role that you'll be able to focus on to create new products that we can then take to our agents and our agencies to continue to grow. So tell us a little bit about Heartland National and kind of the exciting
the thing
opportunity
about
there.
with Heartland Financial Group, the moniker was always by agents for agents, because everybody that we had carried a kit in the sales field. They'd been living with rejection daily, so they knew what it was like. Sales is hard. To be successful, you've got to have a great support team because you're going to fail. You're going to get rejection on a level that most people could not deal with. So with Heartland National and with Heartland Financial Group, part of our secret sauce is, again, the more you get to know us, sometimes the less you would be impressed. We just copied off people, so Mike White was building exclusive Medicare supplements. And I knew Mike, he tried to recruit me right across the street at Adams Mark. He was trying to get me to sell State Mutual. And I said, well, Mike, I've sold all your other products, so sure, I'll try it. And then about 2 hours later, I get a phone call from Mike saying, can you come up here at the hotel? I don't have enough money to pay my bill.
Really?
Yeah, true story. So Mike was building products, and so I thought, I will go build products like Mike is doing. And the funny thing about it is successful people come up with an idea or a process, and the people that create magic, it's like in today's world, people say, well, for me to be successful, you cannot be successful.
Yeah.
I must have all the success for me.
Zero sum. Yeah.
I'm not against you, but I'm for me. What I have found within the people that I've had the pleasure of working with and all the partners within Integrity is not only do they want to create these ideas, they want to share them. The rising tide raises all boats. I mean, who does that in life? Nobody. And it's amazing. Zig Ziglar said, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. That is so very true.
Yeah, so Heartland Financial Group is the distribution arm. It's the agency, so to speak. Heartland National is the life insurance company. So as we kind of split these in two, which Todd, Integre, Bill, and all the rest of the team we just talked about will run Heartland Financial as a partner at Integrity. And then Heartland National, as you go out and create even new products, that's what we're excited about. This is an incredible opportunity, I think, for all of us to look for new ways to serve even more people. And I think what you're talking about is kind of the secret, sauce or the secret to success here at Integrity is this idea that, look, if we all come together, we can all do more.
Absolutely.
Because the world will teach. I was just with Patrick Bet-David at PHP, and we were just talking about this. And the world will tell you that for me to win, you have to lose. And look, I don't know where the world got that, because the opportunity really is the opportunity for us to come together and then serve more people. And if you live in this kind of abundance mentality, it's one of the reasons we became employee owned. It's one of the reasons, I think Integrity's been so successful is it's been this idea that, look, let's just all come together and serve more people. And this opportunity to work with you guys at Heartland Financial is an exciting time for us to look for ways to serve even more people. And then Chris, as you go on and you create new life and health products with what you're going to do with Heartland National is exciting for us because we're excited to partner with you on that side to sell even more products and services to clients that need these products more than anything. So
I think the magic with integrity, and I've said this many times, that I have found everybody, whether it's our customers, whether it's our employees, or whether it's our agents, everybody wakes up in the morning looking for a sense of purpose. And that purpose is very simple. Everybody wants two things. They want security and certainty. That's what we do as an insurance company. And that's what integrity does as a distributor. They solve problems. People want certainty, people want security, and if you help people solve those problems, you're very richly rewarded, as it should be.
And everybody wins. That's one of the greatest things about our entire industry is that the agent wins, the agency wins, the client has to win, and the carrier wins. And if everybody can win in this scenario, it is truly an incredible opportunity to accomplish more than you could ever
do. Works. Everybody in the food chain has to benefit.
Absolutely. And that's where we're excited about partnering with you going forward on your insurance company. And I know that there's going to be a lot of new product design that we'll be talking about. And then certainly excited to partner with you and your entire team at Heartland. And we're incredibly excited to announce this new partnership, this new opportunity for us going forward and work with Todd and his team going forward to even serve more people. And so please join me in celebrating this exciting moment as we come together with this really, truly heart of service to make sure that everybody wins even more. So thanks again for joining us today. This has been an exciting day for all of us. It's going to be an exciting announcement and an exciting opportunity for us to come alongside more people and serve them going forward. Hope everybody has a great day today. God bless you and look forward to seeing you all soon.